Hi all. Today in this session, we will check how we can use a source table, and we can take a real-time scenario that we need to check if we there are some data in the source table. We need to check that data, and we need to check the data in the target also. If there is some new record coming from source, then we will be inserting that into the target. But if the same record is coming, then we will be skipping that record. So let's check how we can implement this scenario into using Azure Data Factory. So for that, let me use I'm using a SQL database, and I have a customer table here. Let me use this particular customer table. So in this customer table, there are so many columns available, but I will be considering only the customer ID, first name, middle name, last name, email address, and phone. Let me check that. So here you can see we have the data with the customer ID and its corresponding details. So this is my source table. Let me create a target table. Let me create a target table. So in the target table, I will have customer ID, first name, middle name, last name, employee ID, phone number, as well as I will have some effective date and the expiry date, just to check when this record got inserted, and we will basically have the expiry date as the higher end date. So let's create this table and let's check the data if the table is created. Yeah, so table is created. So now let's go to data factory and import it. So first of all, before using any source system, we need to create a linked services. So I already have this linked services for SQL database. So let me go to author, and I need to create the data set for the source and the target table. So let's use this new data set, and the data set will be for SQL database. Let me provide it as customer, provide the appropriate linked service, select the appropriate table here. So it will be customer table, and let's import the schema from connection store. Let's click on OK. So my source data set is created. Let me create the target data set. So for that, I'll again go to new data set, search for SQL, select Azure SQL database, provide appropriate name, customer, target, select the link service, then select the appropriate name of the table. Let's wait for a few seconds till it is loading the table name that are available in this database. So my target will be customer target. So let me select this. Let's click on OK. So now my both the data sets are created. Now I need to create the transformation. For that, I need to go to data flow. Let me create a new data flow. Let me provide a name. Insert new data. Let me add the source here. So this will be for customer. And let's make the source type as dataset. And let's choose the appropriate dataset, that is a customer dataset. Let's go to source option. Let me make it table. Let's see the projection. So here you can see in this table, we have so many columns available, that is customer ID, name, style, title, first name, and so many other columns are there. But what we are concerned about is we are only considering this customer ID, first name, middle name, last name, and email address and phone. We don't want rest all. So it's advised that whenever we do any transformation, we should be skipping the records that are not required. At the point where we don't require the other records, other columns, we should be skipping those. So for that, what we can do is we can go to the source query, source option. Instead of table, instead of selecting the entire column list, let's use the query. And let's use this particular query and put it here. Now again, let's go to projection. Let's do import projection. So now you can see the required columns are now available. We have customer ID, first name, last name, email address, and phone. And rest all columns are skipped. Let's see the data here using data preview. Yeah. So now let me add the other source, that is the customer target. And let's choose the appropriate data set here, that is customer target. And again, let's go to the source option. Let's select the entire table. And this is the projection that we have. These all are the columns that we have. Yeah. So what I need is I need to compare if this customer ID, first name, middle name, last name, and phone number and email address is available in the target customer table or not. If it is not present, then I will insert, else I will not insert. So this is my requirement. So for that, what I can do is my approach should be, I should be checking these columns like customer ID, first name, middle name, last name, email address, and phone number. I should be checking if that particular value for these columns are available in this customer target also or not. If those are available, then I should be skipping those. So instead of comparing each and every column with source and the target, the best approach is we can create another column which will contain the hash key, which where which will be containing the hash key, and that hash key will be a unique key based on whatever the value we have in customer ID, first name, middle name, last name, email address, and phone. So combination of these combination of this six column, it will be creating a MD5 or hash key. So for that, what we can do is, this is the best way to do it. Instead of comparing each and every column, if there are suppose say 100 columns in the source and 100 columns in the target, so instead of comparing, doing a join on all the 100 columns, we can create a hash key by combining all the required columns, and we can just do a join on that particular hash column. So from performance perspective also, it will be improving the uh, it will be optimizing your workflow or the pipeline. So in that case, what we can do is we can create a hash column. So for that, what we can do is we need to create a new column that is hash. So for that, we will be using the derived column. And under this derived column, we will provide it as hash. And in expression, we can go to open expression builder, search for MD5. So MD5 function is the function that will be generating a hash value. So here we need to provide all the expressions. So we need a concatenation of, we need a combination of customer ID, first name, middle name, last name, employee email address, and the phone. The combination of these five columns should, based on the combination of these five columns, the hash value should be generated. So what we can do is we can provide all these columns in our expression. So here what we can do, we can select customer ID, Then we can give a comma, then first name, comma, middle name, last name, email address, and phone. Yeah. So here we generated the hash key, and let's do a refresh and see how the data looks now. So here you can see the output column is hash, and this is the input column that we have used. Based on these values, a hash key got generated, and you can see if the value is different, then a new hash key will be generated. So for a combination of customer ID, first name, middle name, last name, email address, and phone, for that particular combination, a unique value will be generated as a hash value. So yeah, let's click on save and finish. And we will do the similar thing for customer target also. So let's click on this plus sign and derived column. And here also we need to create that hash value, hash column. And under this expression, we can again go to open expression builder and search for MD5. And here we can provide customer ID, first name, middle name, last name, email address, and phone number. We don't need this effective date, expiry date, because we need to compare these columns from source with that of the target. So let's refresh and check how the data comes. So it is saying, it is showing error that it is not able to read the data, because in my target I don't have the data, so that's why it is not able to read the data. Yeah, let's click on save and finish. Yeah. So after this, what we need to do is we need to compare the hash value in customer with the hash value in customer target and check if any new records are there. So for that, what we can do, we can use a component called exists. Let's click on this. So we can give a proper name, check new rows. Yeah. And here the left stream is derived column and my right stream will be derived column 2. So I will be selecting here the derived column 2. And here we have an option that do we want to check the existing record or we want to check the new record. Means if some value which is, if we select as exist, then if the same value is coming in customer as well as in customer target, then that value will be flowing outside. If we select does not exist, that means if there is any value in the left stream, that is customer, but not available in right stream, that is customer target, then that value will be flowing. So here we need to check for the new insert, any new record that is coming from source, that is customer, but not available in the target. So let's select doesn't exist and let's provide the exist condition, that is a joining condition. Here we will be joining based on the hash that we created. And from right also we have created that hash column. Okay. So the other way is if we don't create the hash column, then what we can do, we can do a join on all the columns that we want. Like here customer ID, here again the customer ID. So we can do it and we can add rest all columns also. But instead of having multiple joining conditions, we can create a hash and we can do a join on that particular column so that it will be improving the performance. So now we have the data, we have done the join, and let's see the inspect. So in the inspect, what it is doing is it is pulling all the data from customer and pulling the hash column from the derived, which is a joining condition. Now let's see data preview. Yeah. So now you can see, so there are around these many records that are, as we don't have any data in the target, so all those records that are coming from the source are being considered as insert, and those are getting insert, those are coming in this check new rows component. Now what we need to do is we need to load this particular data into my target. So what we need to do is, but let's see the target structure. So the target structure has two new extra column, that is effective date and the expiry date. So what is the logic for effective date and expiry date is, so expiry date should be the higher end date, that is 999912, 99991231, and the effective date will be current date. So what we can do is we can create these two columns before loading that into the target. Then here what we can do, we can add a new derived column. Click on effective date and provide expression. So the effective date will be current date. So you can search for that current date. So we have selected the current date. Let's click on finish. And then we can add one more column, that is the expiry date. And here the expiry date will be 99991231. So what we can do, we can use toDate function and we can provide a 999931. No need of these things. It will work out. Yeah. So now the expiry date, we are hard coding it with 99991231. So now let's see the data, how the data looks. So this is how the data is. The effective date is the current date, that is 2023-12-07, and the expiry date is higher ended. So after this, what we need to do is we need to load that into the target table. So for that, we can click on this plus sign and go to the sync. Sync is at the last. Provide the appropriate name, customer. Select the incoming stream will be derived column 3 only, and select the appropriate data set for the target, that is customer target. And we will select it as allow insert because we are only expecting the new inserts to pop up. And then we will go to mapping. Instead of doing auto mapping, let's see how the mapping is. So here basically customer ID, first name, last name, middle name, email address, phone, and all those are already mapped properly. So let's see the so this is the mapping. So we have all these columns available. So now let's check the data preview. And here I'm getting one error. Transformation stream is invalid. And let's see what is the error. So here the transformation name is target underscore customer, uh, which contains an invalid character and only alphanumeric characters are supported. So for that, what we can do, if you click on this, it will go to that particular area where the error is. So basically here we have written target underscore customer, which is expecting only the alphanumeric value. So we can just remove this here, and now the error is fixed, and then we can click on refresh. So now the data is available for the output table also. So let's do one thing. Let's click on validate. So everything is okay. Let's create a pipeline for this. So for that, we can click on this pipeline, three dots pipeline, and click on new pipeline and provide a name, demo, demo pipeline. And here we can go to this activity move transform and copy this, drag this data flow to the designer window and go to setting and select the appropriate data flow. Insert new data. And let me publish this. So if I publish, instead of publishing, we can also do a debug run. So publish and trigger. I don't I don't want to do that. Let's do a debug run. But before that, let's validate it. So everything is okay. So now let's do a debug run. It will take few seconds because it will be spinning up the cluster and then it will be triggering the process. So let's wait for few minutes. So it took around 1 minute 6 seconds to get it completed. Let's go to the detailed one. So this is my target customer. It is succeeded. And let's go to the stage. So it says at each stage how many columns were pulled. And let's go to lineage. So it shows that which column was coming from which particular the source. As you can see, the expiry date got derived in derived column 3 component. So it is showing that effective date also from there. Now let's see how the data is available in my target. So this is my target, customer target. Let's click on run. So here you can see we have customer ID, first name, middle name, last name, email address, as well as the effective date and the expiry date. So this is a current date and this is my expiry date. So we checked how we can insert, we can check for the new insert and then load the data into the tab. Yeah, let's do one more check. So here we have done for check new rows. Now, if we do a preview once again, then we will not be seeing any record here because all those records that are available in customer are already inserted into the customer target. So if I do a preview once again, then it should not show any result. So let me do a refresh. So yeah, so for that, first of all, I need to publish it and then again open the job to refresh it. Let's publish it now because it is pulling the existing data. So let me close this and let's open this once again. Let me click on check new rows, refresh. So now we can see there is no output available as we are checking for the exists doesn't exist scenario. So where the data is available in customer but not available in customer target. So as we did the first run, whatever the data is there in customer, all of them got inserted into the customer target. So in data preview, we are not able to see any record. So let's change it to exist. And let's do a data preview once again. So here you can see all those records that are available in the target, and those are also available in customer. So all of them are coming. So this is how the exist component in data flow works. I hope. So in this session, we discussed how we can use the source data and we can do some transformation and check for the new inserts and insert the data into the target table. I hope it is informative. If it is helpful, then please like and share the video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.